You are
Yay! We
live!
are live!
Yay!
Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to our stream!
Hello. Sorry, I'm a little out of it today. My stomach's upset, and I did not get a good night's sleep.
Uh, More like, well, that and we, independent of each other, messed up our own sleeping schedules. I don't know how it
It
happened
is
with
so
him.
easy to do.
It's
with
really
this.
easy to do right
You lose
now
so much track of
because,
time.
yeah. So last night, well, yesterday, I don't know if it was the heat or something, but I was just kind of like, I don't know, I'm tired, like, or maybe it's this whole thing, like you said, like stress. And I decided, I told him, I was like, I'm gonna take like a 20-minute nap. Famous last words always,
Oh,
because
yeah.
every time I do that, and I woke up and it's like it's dark out. I wake up like, oh, what happened? What time is it? Where
You've been
am I?
asleep for 3 days.
That's what it feels like. So I mean, it was a good nap, but I woke up and it was like
Okay, what
8 p.m.
happened?
and I was like, oh God, no. And he was playing a video game, and then so we had this just like terrible dinner of instant noodles because
Ramen.
we were too lazy to cook. I mean, the ramen was really good, but
That's probably why I have stomach problems.
it's just not the best thing to have. It's got a lot of sodium, and on top of that, it's like, not the best. So but it tasted good. So we neither one of us ended up going to bed until like 3:30ish a.m. and then we woke up at like 9 something. So
There's no we and us waking. I was awake the whole time.
you didn't sleep at all?
Oh no, I got like 3 hours of sleep.
Oh, okay, because you said
I'm sorry, misunderstood. There's going to be a lot of that going on today.
well,
Just
that's
going,
not good because we have good
what?
topics today.
I know a lot of them are
You better
really
get it
interesting. There's
together.
actually like
Get it together.
news.
Yeah. Surprise,
And drama.
surprise. There's some drama we're gonna get into. So we are glad that you guys are here with us, and you can kind of join us in our weird sleep pattern. Not hysteria. What's the word I'm looking for? Delirium. And let's talk some movie news. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining. Let me just go back to the other thing. Okay, so put that yawn away because we're going to talk about.
Sorry.
We're going to be talking about Goosebumps. So Goosebumps is actually going to be. It's in the works for a TV reboot. Can you imagine that? I actually loved Goosebumps growing up. Like all the R.L. Stine books, like I had so many of it. And sometimes my mom, like I actually hated shopping as a kid. I hated it, which is so opposite of who I am now. I love shopping, though I haven't done shopping in a very long time. She would just like leave me in a bookstore. And I mean, I was old enough to like, know like stranger danger, so I wasn't, a child.
And well, back in those days, it was a completely different time.
Yeah, it was. Well, I guess.
Well, I remember, what is it? My dad used to take me and my 3 brothers to Dodger Stadium, and during like a certain part of the game, he just he'd give us $20 and say, "Hey, yeah, go ahead and explore and go get ice cream."
I like how $20 was enough back then to feed 3 boys.
Yep.
And now it's like,
now you wouldn't be able to get a hot dog.
$11.75. Oh, you want a Coke, a small one? That will be $5.75. Thank you very much. Cash only, or something like that, like a dollar charge if you use the credit card. So, okay, sorry for the segue, but so Goosebumps. Sony Pictures TV is teaming up with Scholastic Entertainment to bring Goosebumps to the small screen. And you guys remember back in the 90s, that's when we had the TV shows, and it's like I felt like we had that. We had Are You Afraid of the Dark? I was into both. I feel like they're kind of overlapping a little bit in my memory because I don't quite remember. But of course, we also had the books. And in 2015, that's when Goosebumps actually made it to the big screen, and this star Jack Black. And it seems like everybody in the world loved this movie except for me and a couple of my friends who we all saw it together. We were so excited too. Like I brought my buddy Adam. We love horror, and like Goosebumps is something we both grew up with. I went with Holly and Schnepp, and we're like, yes, we're all so excited. And it was like a very quiet drive home after the movie. We're just like, did we overhype ourselves, or did we just really? But I feel like maybe we need to rewatch it again because literally every single person was like, I loved it.
Yeah, because it also got a sequel.
It got a sequel. It made a lot of money.
However, I think putting it back into the television genre, or the television, whatever you would call that, either through streaming or on TV, is actually probably the best place to put this series, because there's so many different stories, things that are completely different from one to another, to a different tone with this one, with this different book. So these different stories really do deserve to kind of be told in just by themselves, kind of like a Tales from the Crypt, or a Black Mirror, or all of these different kinds of Twilight Zone kind of series. So I think putting it back, and also now giving it a little bit more of maybe a young adult instead of like, well,
kids.
Instead
but
of kids.
The thing is that it started, at least for me, it started off as a kids book series.
Yeah.
So you don't want to make it so frightening that the kids who are, you know, like younger readers that are reading these R.L. Stine books get so afraid of it where you can't watch. Though I do remember some of the episodes, and even like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Like some of those got pretty creepy. And even as an adult looking back, I'm like, I like enjoyed it back then. So I think that's why I was so kind of disappointed with the movie, the 2015 movie, because it was only frightening in some parts, and it wasn't overwhelmingly frightening. And I don't know, maybe somewhere in my head it was more it was more targeted for a younger audience than I anticipated. And I think they really went for that like new audience, like actual current young readers that are reading these books or could be reading these books, as opposed to playing it on the nostalgia factor, which I think is actually better.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what you want to do. So what I'm hoping for the TV show, I honestly think maybe R.L. Stine, like Goosebumps series, is better, like you said, for a TV show.
Yeah. Because there's just so much material that you want to go through. And some of them are so completely different from one to another. So you want to be able to shift that storytelling mood, so to speak, on each episode. And you just can't do that with a movie.
Yeah, so I am excited to see where it lands and to see kind of what platform they're going to distribute it on, whether it's going to be a Hulu, Amazon Prime.
Netflix.
I feel like it's going to go on Netflix, or I guess it's Sony, so it won't be Disney Plus at all.
Nope.
But yeah, we'll see. You know, I'm excited. Anytime like you say Goosebumps, even if I didn't like the movie, I'm like, ooh, Goosebumps? Goosebumps? Ooh.
And it's weird because I grew up knowing about the books, and I think I maybe read like one of them.
Oh, really?
Well, even the TV show, because one, I'm not really into horror and scary things. And also when I was younger, I mean, I'm dyslexic. So me sitting down and reading a book, unless I was able to get it on like audio. Yeah. And back then, getting the audio tapes for like any book was really difficult.
Yeah, that was way back then. They didn't. Plus, it was like all like heavy duty cassette tapes.
Yeah.
So it's not like
I had some of those. Digital. I had some of those like for some of my favorite books, the shoebox of just cassettes for one book, for one small book. It was just a huge shoebox.
Side A, and then you later turn it over to side B, push it in. Oh my god, memory lane.
Oh, nostalgia.
They're saying our audio is a little low. Let me go ahead and check that real quick. Audio.
Technical difficulties. Maybe we should
How's that? Is that better?
Maybe we'll just speak louder.
We're yelling.
Am I speaking too loud?
Let us know in the comments or in the chat if our audio seems to be better. It was the same. It's been the same setting. I'm not sure. So while you guys let us know in the chat how our audio is,
technology. You know, it's weird. You can do something 100 times with computers and stuff, and you do it 101st time. No, it just doesn't want to work.
Yeah, it happens. Nope. Technology. It's a funny thing. And while we're waiting for you guys to chime in about our audio, I want to ask you guys too if you've read any Goosebumps books and if you saw the movie, and also if you guys remember. So there's like a series of Goosebumps books. Like there's so many. There was also, I guess you can call it like the Bandersnatch book of Goosebumps, because it was a choose your own adventure. So you read the story and you're at a carnival, and it says make a decision, and then whatever decision you
go to
make,
that page.
It says go to this page, and then you do like this and that, and it was like a choose your own adventure book. And it was really interesting, and I remember reading it over and over because I was trying to see what other outcomes I would get. And there were some pages where you weren't allowed. It's kind of like enter the carnival, explore this whatever. Oh, I don't want to do that. Go home. Like if you chose that one, and then the book is like, no, then what are you doing? Go back.
Why are you reading this book if you're just going to go home?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so it seems like our audio's okay, so that's good to know.
Woohoo! Yay!
Good to know. Good to know. But if it does drop off later, make sure you guys let us know.
Mm-hmm.
There's a comment from Noah who says, "I heard of Goosebump books and movies, but I didn't read the books or seen the movie. I'm not sure if the movie's playing anywhere right now. I feel like
you can probably get it on like Amazon,
VOD, yeah, but I don't know if it's like for free anywhere. Not for free, but it's available on any of the platforms.
Yeah, any of the big streaming services.
Yeah. All right. Next piece of news is, believe it or not, Now You See Me 3. Now You See Me 3 lands American Hustle writer Eric Warren Singer, who is I was kind of surprised. Like, this news came out of the left field for me because I actually really enjoy Now You See Me, the first one. I thought it was
I thought we
really
both liked
different.
It,
yeah, and I like that these, like, it's like everybody's like, oh, magic is fake and like whatever, it's planned and all that stuff. It's kind of like, well, obviously it's illusion and this and that, but I enjoy seeing how theatrical they did with the movie.
Yeah.
And I find like magic tricks like fascinating, so I really liked it. And then when they came out with the second one, I don't even think somehow we missed it. We wanted to, and I don't know if it was. I can't remember if the audience overall liked it or not.
I don't think so. I think that was the big thing, is the fact that other people went out and saw it, and they said that they didn't like it. But the thing is, though, something that I didn't really realize at the time was that that's also what a lot of people were saying about the first one, but we liked it. Yes. So we should have gone and seen it nonetheless.
Yeah. I feel like the second one, like the magic, was what they produced it on a grander scale. Of things like even bigger, so I wonder if that just maybe was like too far-fetched for some people.
Maybe, I think that was the big problem that they had in the first one.
I liked it though.
I also the one scene in that movie that I have watched a couple times.
The first one or the second one?
In the second one is when they're passing the card around in security. Like, they're in security, and for some reason there's a card that they have to keep a hold of, and that will have like some kind of technological, I don't know. I don't know what the story is behind the card, but for some reason, they're passing the card around. They're being searched by security. And I'm like, this is really cool. The way that, down the sleeve, he's able to get it, flicks it down from his foot. Then they pick it up, get it off their shoe, flick it over to someone else.
If you guys have ever seen like hard magic, like up close magic, it's fascinating. If you know how it works, and you still can't catch the magician doing that trick, and you're just like, but how?
Yeah, and you just had a
I did a couple of, I don't know if I'm allowed to say. Well, one of them is on the Collider Twitter, so I guess I can say. But like, there was I got to participate in a magic trick performed by Shin Lim, who is like,
who's amazing,
seriously amazing. You probably know him from America's Got Talent and the Full Us show with Penn and Teller. But he would do just these tricks, and I'm just like, but how? Because I'm literally this close to him.
Yeah, he's like,
I like sat across
and
from
then
him.
A card appears, and there's like, he has his sleeves rolled up, and he's able to do all of this. If you get a chance to check him out,
that video is not available yet, but
there's plenty of other
ones that you're just kind of like, but how? What misdirection? What was I not supposed to be looking at? So, but I'm excited for the premise of the third one. They haven't really announced any of the casting choice, but the writer did say that he wants to create new characters, but he also wants to create opportunities for some of the older and original characters to reprise their roles. So I think
makes sense.
I think that's important for some of the original characters to come back, and even if it's just a cameo, if you want to focus the story on a new group of magicians, I feel like sometimes like a little pop up here and there makes the whole franchise, you kind of bring everything together. Yeah,
and it also makes it so you're also able to pass it on to like a next generation if it starts to become big, and
Shin Lim could be in it for like a cameo.
That would be so cool.
Great.
That would make me go see it.
Yeah, that would just for like his like 5-minute or less cameo. It doesn't matter. Or just
have him play himself, and he's doing different card tricks, and make him like one of the head magicians in like their secret society.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so great. I mean, if they should at least try and ask. I think that would be a missed opportunity if he didn't. So our questions to you guys is: would you see Now You See Me 3? Once it comes out in theater or VOD, depending on what situation we are in then. Go ahead and put that in the chat, and we'll come back to it. Let's actually see what they are saying in the chat now, let's see. See some people talk. Oh, Jack Robin says it was different seeing Daniel Radcliffe in that movie. I totally forgot that Daniel Radcliffe was in the movie Harry Potter. That's kind of ironic.
Harry Potter in a magic movie.
That's really.
I remember
really
that
ironic.
was one of the little gimmicks that they did.
Yeah.
And there was someone else in that movie too that was like one of the bad guys or something.
Wasn't Woody Harrelson in it?
Well, Woody Harrelson, he was one of the horsemen.
Yeah. Oh, one of the I like forgot.
That's what they were called. We have to go back and watch the first one.
Yeah, we need to absolutely revisit this. Okay. I like what Jack Robin said here. He says, I want the original back. I want Isla Fisher back. Yes. 100%. Yes, yes.
What'd you say?
Isla Fisher. She's from the first movie.
Was it?
The girl midget. She was like the only
Oh, but was she not in the second one?
I think she only made a cameo. I don't think she was in the second one.
Oh.
I think because she was having a baby.
Oh.
Well, wait, no, she was pregnant in the first one. I don't remember. I don't know.
I just worked
it. It has been way too long, but she is phenomenal. I will watch anything she is in. Love her.
Harry Potter versus the Hulk? I missed the cover. I just saw that and it just caught my eye.
Oh, Mark Ruffalo is the one that's in it.
Oh, okay. I was going, which Hulk? Because technically there's been a lot of Hulks.
Yeah. And MK Sonberg writes, yes, Lizzie Kaplan, who I also love, replaced her character in the second.
Okay. Oh, so it's the same character.
I don't think it was the same character.
But it's a different actor? Was it that
definitely, yeah, Lizzie Kaplan.
Yeah, definitely different actor, but were they playing the same character?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. That would
be
kind of weird.
So, because they look completely different. So if they looked similar, then like maybe, though I wouldn't have liked that anyways. I feel like it's just like she was doing something else.
They've done that in so many movies. Like, what is it? The movie that I hated it the most was in Major League. Did you get the baseball movie?
The original?
The original going from Major League 1 to Major League 2. I remember my whole family loved Major League.
Who did they replace?
They replaced a lot of... No, Major League Baseball.
Oh, Major League. Sorry, I was thinking League Their Own. I was so confused. No. I confused myself. Sorry.
Like, what is it? It was Wesley Snipes was one of the main characters that they took out and replaced because at that time Wesley Snipes was starting to get big.
Still is.
And they replaced like 2 other characters and they took the movie, which was originally rated R, and they turned it into a PG-13 for the sequel. So I hate it when they do that. Unless there is an actual, like, a really good reason for replacing an actor, like either they died,
yes,
which is always understandable.
Yes, when you have to.
Or there is just a severe conflict of interest, or there was.
Then you write them out, and you don't. I mean, I don't know.
Well, look what they did to Rhodey in Iron Man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true. And I actually didn't have a problem with that because I like both of them.
Yeah, I mean, they both did a really good job.
Yeah. So I will say, Carrie Fisher. And I just saw Jack's comment in the chat. Carrie Fisher would be one of the few actors that I would, especially in the capacity of the film that she was involved in. Like, I would not have wanted to see any other actor portray her. Leia in the Star Wars movies.
And it would have been really difficult too, especially probably what they would have done is gotten a really good impersonator or someone who's good, and then they would have done the whole Tarkin thing or what they did in Rogue One. But, you know, honestly, I don't know if people, I mean, I think if you would have done a combination of old footage and maybe some pickups with that, maybe you can get away with it.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's a really good decision that they were just kind of like, you know what? No, we're just using existing footage.
Yeah, it was the right choice. All right, let's go on to our next story. So this is a more like a Broadway based story, but Ryan Murphy is going to be adapting not one but 2 plays and a play and a musical into a movie and TV show. So I'm just gonna pull up my notes here. So he is working on adapting a play called The Boys in the Band, which will be a Netflix film, and it's a drama about gay men in Manhattan reuniting. I want to like look more into that because I actually have not seen the play, but that's going to be really. I think that's really, really interesting to see that as a film. And then I'm very excited about this. So Ryan Murphy and his collaborator Joe Mantello did a stage revival of that play, and that's the version that they're going to be putting into the movie.
Oh, okay. Well,
so it's definitely like
I'm not familiar with the original play or the new play at all, so it's always interesting to see like, oh, this is their take on it.
Yeah, I feel like I want to kind of see their take on it first, and then revisit the original play, and then revisit the updated like play version that they did. I think that's
see
what I
if you even like what the material's even about.
Yeah.
And if the characters hold. I'm assuming that it's a very well written play. Usually those are the ones that get moved on from play to television or film.
Yeah.
Like Denzel Washington in Fences. That was such a very good adaptation.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. The other one that they're going to adapt is A Chorus Line. One.
And I like the fact that they're doing it like a TV show too.
Yeah, it's going to be.
They really could do that. I mean, that's a really good play to kind of take and go, hey, we could make a series out of this. These people are coming into audition. They're going to be, and they've already done. What is that called? TV shows like this, where it's focused around like one play that's maybe going out, and they're gonna, what is it called? They're test playing it. They're
testing.
What is that called?
Testing workshop.
Workshop. That was the word I'm looking for. When they're starting to workshop it.
Oh, workshop a play.
Yeah.
Or musical. Yeah.
And they could really do that. That they're just, all of these people are coming into audition to workshop this play.
Well, the premise of A Chorus Line was these people coming in to audition to be a part of the chorus line.
Yeah.
So I think that would be the premise of the TV show, showing these aspiring actors coming in to do their dancing, their singing, and their acting, and then they meet like the Michael Douglas character. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun too, like from the big audition catacall process to, which is going to be like, it's going to make such a great montage. And I don't know what time setting they're going to do it. I couldn't find information on that. But I did find that he is planning to do a 10-episode mini-series.
Oh.
And as we all know, Ryan Murphy created and produced Glee. So he is definitely no stranger to the theaters. He's no stranger to creating musical numbers. And I feel that his like love for theater will hopefully translate this really, really well. And it's like, I'm just like really excited to see it. I'm excited to see, hopefully they don't make the songs too modern. I want to kind of keep all the songs in its original.
Yeah, at least make it so they kind of. I mean, they can like, what is it called? Modern them up a little bit.
A little bit, but not too much. Like I still want like the jazzy, Fosse type of like situation. Yeah, and I definitely want to see Dance 10 Looks 3. Sorry. Yeah, is that Dance 10 Looks 3?
Oh yeah. And
it's
what was
the
it?
TNA girl.
Oh yeah, she goes tits and ass.
We can't say that. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
YouTube is really, really strict, so we cannot cuss on our.
Hopefully that was bleeped out enough.
Well, fingers crossed. But yeah, like there's a lot of like characters. There's a lot of things that they can do, and I think by condensing it into like a 10-episode miniseries will work really, really well. And then if it does well, then maybe they can move on to season 2. Maybe. But sometimes I feel like the chorus line's just like one and done.
Yeah, well, especially
let's get to the end with their performance and their little golden top hats.
Well, it's also this that he says outright that it's going to be a 10-episode miniseries.
Yeah.
He didn't say it's going to be a 10-episode story or this is season 1. I think he plans to have his one story that he wants to tell in those 10 hours. Well, I'm assuming they're about.
Well, we don't know. They didn't say that. So all I wrote down was he's planning to do a 10-episode miniseries. We don't know where it's going to land. We don't know what distributor, what TV station, we don't know yet. So, but yeah, it's exciting. I think Debbie was chiming in a lot in the chat, so I kind of want to scroll and see what and someone was saying.
Talking about, well, hopefully it's more on the earlier seasons of Glee sample as opposed to the later seasons.
We didn't love
I can't believe how hot and heavy the first half of season 1 just hit with Glee, and then after that you're just like, no, okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done. It dropped. It had such a spike.
Oh, somebody wrote, you mean Fame? No, Chorus Line and Fame are not the same.
Oh no,
they're not they both have music involved.
It's hard to keep track though, you know. There's so many different ones.
Yeah.
That have to deal with showbiz and life in the theater and Each one of them have like their own unique little story, but I can see it's very easy to get them flip flopped.
Why might I not be able to find?
I have to do
Debbie's
something about
thing.
my chair. It's
okay,
all squeaky.
Here we go. All right. Debbie says, doubtful. When you look back at Glee, that track record makes me believe they'll keep it close to the original songs. I mean, that's the hope. That they keep it, they don't like jazz it up too much. Not too much of like, I don't need to mash up with a song from today. Like if you're gonna do chorus line, then
do chorus line.
Just do the songs.
The thing is though, I mean, you've only got a few songs. I mean, how many songs are in a chorus line? 10, 12 maybe at most. So that's like a song an episode.
I mean, they can also do original songs, I guess, if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
But I would prefer if they just kept it to the originals, and you can write about the story, because there's a lot. There is, every character had their own little journey and their arc, and then they have like the relationship between like certain characters. They talk about that. So I am very, very, very excited to see, and they need to cast Aaron Chris into this.
What's also really cool is that they could have, if they're doing it, if they're like doing it in the realm of a workshop, they can be like, "Oh, right, here's a new number. No, we're cutting it. Nah, we're not keeping that one. That one did not make the cut to the final production of Chorus Line."
Yeah. Oh my gosh, how funny.
And if it's a song that not very many people like, people can be like, okay, yeah, we're cutting that.
Doesn't exist. Yeah.
Doesn't exist in the final production.
Well, let us know what you think of this news, of these adaptations, and would you be watching it once they come out? Let's go on to the next story. Ooh, okay, we're getting into the thick of it. All right, so the Academy made an announcement making some changes for the VOD titles, and it's also combining one of its categories, or two of its categories, into one. And we've been saying this for a while, like since like the pandemic began, and a lot of movie theater releases got moved, either delayed or moved to like a VOD release. So the Oscars making the change and giving these films that debuted on VOD and streaming service the eligibility to be nominated for an Oscar so long as they were scheduled for a theatrical release. So an example of that would be like Trolls World Tour.
Yeah.
So because it was scheduled for a theatrical release, but then it decided to shift and debut on VOD, but it was scheduled. So it would be eligible, like, to be nominated for an Academy Award for like Best Animated Film or something.
However,
like that.
Something like
Bad Education,
which was never going to be out in theaters, will not be allowed into the Oscars.
Which is a shame because it's such a good movie.
Yes.
You guys, we have our
very good.
Our review for Bad Education up on our channel. It's available on HBO. If you have HBO, I really hope you guys watch the review. Give the movie a watch because it's really good. Like the performance and everything by Hugh Jackman, by Allison Janney, and the rest of the cast.
By everyone, even Ray Romano.
Yeah, it's
he does an
really,
amazing. Everyone
really,
does an amazing
really
job in that movie.
And I keep saying that the trailer just didn't do this movie justice, because that's why I was so excited for him to watch the trailer with me and to watch the movie. And I was like, you gotta watch it. I know the premise may seem like just kind of like, oh,
like,
what is
really?
What
We're
is
gonna
this
watch
like?
This movie about embezzling from a school?
But it's actually so good. So yes, so this means that Bad Education would not be eligible for an Oscar, which is like, it's such a missed opportunity. Like, it's freaking so good.
And I mean, does it really make it any more or less a movie if it doesn't go into the theaters?
That's been like the argument for years now, ever since streaming really took off. It's kind of like, if you look at all the way back to like oh boy.
Well, so many things that have just come out straight to DVD.
Yeah, that are still good.
I mean, there is very much a cliche of movies that go straight to DVD are, you know, the discount bins at Walmart kind of thing. But there's still a lot of really good movies that are now coming out that came straight to Amazon, to Netflix, or straight to HBO that are really good, that aren't going to get the notification that they truly do deserve simply because they didn't have the money to get put into a theater.
Yeah, so I just think that it's interesting that like it took like this situation for us to finally make the change. And then I have even more notes because there was so much. one of the qualifying criterias for these like VOD and streaming titles is that they would have to be made available to the Academy voters via the Academy screening room, which is only exclusive to the voting members, within 60 days of their non-theatrical debut. And then once the theaters do reopen, all these films are required to book a 7-day run in theaters in order to be eligible. So it's like you're kind of bending the rules, but at the same time you're not. But I welcome the change, and hopefully this can slowly progress them into like, you know what, movie is a movie, like you said, because it debuted exclusively only like on streaming or VOD does not mean it's a less good of a movie than for the people who have enjoyed it in theaters. So I think that rule is starting to get a little old in my opinion, and like I feel like it's, you know, certainly time to make this shift. And then there is even more in it, because it doesn't even look like this is going to be a permanent ruling. According to the Academy President David Rubin and CEO Don Hudson, this is only a temporary solution. So it's like one step forward, 2 steps back.
And what is it? Even in the article, they were talking about how trying to make the VOD titles available for, because I mean, they're not going to be doing any DVDs anymore. They're not going to be sending out any of the DVDs,
the screeners.
Any more of the screeners. So making everything available online. However, they said having their older older members, that was the word, sorry, their older members have a harder time transitioning into something like this. And I'm like,
I mean, they
just keep doing it. Have this be the excuse that you're like, no, we're gonna change to a more, you know, environmentally friendly, and not throwing away all of these DVDs, all of this packaging, all of this advertising stuff. You know, more earth friendly.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope that they do continue with this like VOD rule instead of making it temporary. I feel like it should be a permanent thing.
Yeah.
I feel like they can tweak it a little bit more, and they can be a little bit more lenient, because then I feel like a lot of films miss out on the opportunity to be an Oscar nominated film and getting that recognition.
Yeah.
Just only, and it's all because it's on VOD like that, and when you have a truly good film like that. Kind of sucks. Another thing that the Academy did is the board voted to combine the 2 sound categories. So we have the sound editing category and the sound mixing category, and now it's going to be combined into one single award, and they're going to make it best sound that will recognize both best editor and mixer, and this will bring the total categories down from 24 to 23. And I see this in the comments, and I was reading it all over the internet yesterday too. A lot of people saying, okay, great, you have room for one category, make stunts a category, best stunts. Been saying it for years. Stuntmen don't get recognition, don't get enough recognition. They're out there risking their lives, breaking their bodies to give us these amazing sequences, and they don't get recognized. Same thing for mocap performers. Like, they don't get recognized sometimes because, like, they're in a mocap suit, so, like, you're not eligible for best actor. I'm sorry, you're still acting. You are probably giving a little bit more because they have to capture your expression.
Yeah.
You know, I look at people like Andy Serkis, who has done so much mocap, a fantastic actor, and you can't tell me that he's not a good actor because he's like, oh, mocap only, you can't qualify for an Oscar. Like, that's bananas. It's bananas to me.
And no pun intended with, you know, apes.
Caesar, apes together strong. So yeah, we will see. I feel like more and more people are kind of speaking out about stunts being a category, amongst other things that should be given a category.
Yeah.
And like, why are we tied to 24 categories? The show's already long. Like, why adding 2 more? What's it gonna matter? You know, cut out a montage.
Yeah. Honestly, I think they should also take all of the songs that they do and make a montage.
Didn't they try that one year?
I mean, that would save a lot of time if you just kind of give like a celebration of all the songs, and they do this part, they do a little bit from this song, a little bit of that song, and they're performing. Oh, you still have all the performers.
You can do like a 5 to 8 minute thing for all the songs and the scores.
As opposed to having 5 or 6 minute long performances.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I do like some of the performances. Like, I remember when Frozen, like the Into the Unknown, and I knew that Idina Menzel was gonna be singing it. I was like, definitely.
And honestly, I loved it when Justin Timberlake performed.
He opened the Oscars.
Yeah, when he opened the Oscars. You know what? That would actually be a really good way of doing it. Having it at the opening, all of the songs.
One song down, yeah.
Well, not just one song, but like put like maybe two songs together, do a little medley, have like maybe 3 songs do a medley. I mean, there's many different ways that you can do it, but it would cut time.
It would cut time, yeah. The Academy Awards, it's very
they're already
long.
Starting to learn that, if we cut a host, we can get a lot more done.
I am surprisingly enjoying the not having a host.
Yeah, because if you don't have a good host, it really shows. If you have a really good host, then okay, cool, good job.
Right.
So I think it's better off without a host, unless you have someone who's like a Billy Crystal, who just did an amazing job every single year he did it.
Yes, but it's like it's such a feat. You know, you have to really like sit down and write all the stuff. You have to stay updated with all the current events, all the pop culture news, and see how you can work that into your monologues and your segues and things like that. So it's like you work for like a whole year just to present one night at the Academy. So it's just a lot of work. One of the things I also don't like, and I mostly like the not having a host for the Oscars, but one thing I didn't like was that they have someone introduce the next person. You know, like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm introducing our next presenter, da-da-da-da-da. And it's kind of like, why don't you just have the presenter do it? Like, why do you, what? And I think somebody, and I can't remember who it was, maybe it was Beanie Feldstein, but, like, somebody kind of poked fun at it. I threw a little bit of a shade at, like, I don't know why we're introducing other people, but here I am.
We're introducing other people to introduce the winner of this award.
Yeah, it's really, really weird. So anyway, that's the little bit on the Academy changes and news. Let us know what you guys think in the chat and in the comments. If you think this new VOD rule should be a permanent thing, and what category would you add if they have to have 24? What category would you guys add aside from best stunts?
I also think that I mean, if you have it on, if it comes out on Netflix or if it comes out on like a big streaming service, and they're like, okay, fine, you can put it into a theater for 1 week.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be many theaters.
Correct. Just
so people have seen your movie in the theaters, okay, you are now eligible for an Oscar.
Yeah. Amir Neal wrote in the chat, make Oscars a 2-day event, Oscar weekend. Wow!
I don't know if I could handle that.
I don't know if I can handle that either. Just watching it one night makes me, like, I'm usually starting off really, really excited, and then by the middle, I kind of dip, and then all I want to do is, I was quite invested in this past year's Oscar, actually, it was this year.
We already have 2 nights of Oscars because they do all the other Oscars the night before.
Oh, right, for the other categories. They don't really broadcast. But I remember following it because I was like, let's see what they give Parasite, and we should have recorded the reaction because I think I cried like 3 every time Parasite won. I was in disbelief, I was in shock, and I was crying tears of happiness and screaming like our neighbors probably thought somebody was committing a crime or something. Like, what's happening in that apartment?
Know. Our neighbors.
What? What?
Oh, never mind. Nothing.
What?
Oh, because we also have neighbors that also scream.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I didn't make the connection. Well, yeah. Maybe this year, depending, or maybe should I say next year, depending on who the nominees are. Maybe we'll do a reaction video.
Oh yeah, when they do Best Picture.
We'll see. It's just not like the easiest thing. It's easy to film, but it's not easy to
produce.
Put together. So.
Yeah, because do you show it on the screen? Do you do just the audio? But the audio
I would not show
it
on the screen. That's way too much work for me.
Yeah, like I want to watch the reaction that they did for Avengers Endgame. What is it? Someone got had the rights to be able to film the audience's reaction. And I remember listening to just that segment where they all come out to that final battle against Thanos and just hearing everyone in the audience go, yeah! It's really cool to watch, to see other people's reaction. It gets you hyped, too.
I miss the theater experience. And with that, it's the perfect way to segue into our last bit of news. We got some drama going on, some fighting words. So AMC is saying that they're going to stop showing Universal films after the whole comment by Universal Pictures CEO Jeff Shaw. So basically, Jeff Shaw did an interview with the Wall Street Journal, and he made a comment that they want to plan to release more movies in both theaters and on VOD concurrently. And this comes after the success of Trolls World Tour, which made like just below $100 million in a very short amount of time.
That's not bad.
I would say that's pretty good. And he says that it exceeded their expectations and demonstrated the viability of PVOD. And as soon as theaters reopen, we expect to release movies on both formats. So the CEO of AMC, AMC Theaters, yes, not the TV channel. He saw that. So then, in an open letter to Universal, he says, "quote
An open letter."
I mean, it's open. If you want to read it, I think it's on the Wrap or Variety, like the whole thing. You can actually read the whole thing if you want to. And he wrote, and I quote, "The chain will no longer show Universal movies in its theaters in the U.S., Europe, and Middle East. This goes into effect today and as our theaters reopen." He then said, "This is not some hollow or ill-considered threat." So this means AMC will no longer screen Universal blockbusters such as Fast 9, Jurassic World Dominion, Sing 2 is coming out, Minions 2.
Minions. Oh,
that would be a huge movie. So,
but it's obvious. I mean, if Trolls did well on VOD, I'm pretty sure Minions is going to do pretty well on VOD as well. But it's also the fact that after this came out.
Wait. I'm not done.
Okay,
you're jumping ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to jump ahead.
It's okay. So, the CEO of AMC Theaters also warns that the chain, AMC, the movie theaters, will be doing the same to the other studios to make similar moves to what Universal is doing. And again, you can read the open letter, the whole thing on the Wrap if you want to get like all them fighting words. So back to what you were saying, because at first, okay, just a little preface for this. At first, when we saw this news yesterday, I was like, oh my God, like those are fighting words because, and I feel like I kind of can see where both sides are coming from. For Universal, they have this movie. They were going to release it in theaters, and the theaters closed. And it was so it happened. Everything moved very quickly. It closed and made the decision to go VOD. It didn't seem like anybody had any problems with it.
Yeah.
You know, when it was released, like then, AMC or any other movie theaters, from what we know, didn't speak out about it. And Universal went on and made tons of money. It's really, really, we still haven't seen it yet, but we're hearing that it's really, really good. We were planning to see it. And now that, you know, this comment's been made in the Wall Street Journal, AMC is like, whoa, hold on a second. And so I feel like they're in the movie theaters, AMC in particular, is not in the best position right now because financially they've taken a huge hit.
Huge. They are holding on by a thread.
Yeah.
But this is also the thing. When your back's against the wall and all of a sudden the biggest threat to your business, which is VOD for movie theaters, I mean, that's pretty much a Netflix to Blockbuster kind of comparison.
Yeah.
To where I'm not going to be surprised to where these big movie chains are going to become obsolete because there's going to be now more movies that you can just VOD, and to go see some of the big tentpole movies, well, those can actually probably be held by the movie theaters. I mean, not but by the studios. The studios can be like, you know what? We're just going to release it in these these new theaters that we've bought.
Oh,
kind of
well,
thing.
See, yeah, we haven't even talked about that
And this
yet.
is also the thing. AMC is also looking at the $150 million that Trolls made, and is probably going, wait a second.
95 million.
Oh, 95 million?
Yeah, just under 100 million.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Seeing this money, and they're going, wait a second, that should have been some of our money.
Yeah. So
it's this business that's starting to go under, that has had problems, that has had that's struggled through new technology, and now they are just fighting to stay alive.
I feel like movie theaters have been struggling for a while, and the threat of like streaming services and VOD have always been kind of hanging over their head. But people up to this point, because of this pandemic, up to this point, enjoy the theater experience. I love going to the theater. I know it's not cheap to go to the theater, so we choose our titles, what we want to see in the theater, and get that experience. very carefully. Some of them we do choose to wait until it comes out later. Some of the, usually tentpole movies or movies that I really want to support, if it's an indie film that I'm just like, yes, I need to go vote with my money so that more people can go see this, have it,
Yeah.
But the theater make most of its money in concession, which is why it's so freaking expensive to get a popcorn or a bottle of water or a soda.
Bucket of popcorn that costs maybe 20 cents for them to make, they have to charge, $8.
Yeah. So I don't want to say that like I blame AMC for saying what he said, but I feel like it was a bit of a very knee-jerk reaction, and I feel like some of this could have been taken care of behind the scenes. I feel like when you saw when he saw, and I'm trying to put myself in their shoe, but I'm also trying to think how they could have avoided this whole like dramatic thing that's all like everybody's airing out their dirty laundry.
Yeah.
So like when you see that and you're kind of like, well, that's upsetting. And if you're saying that AMC and Universal have these like decade-long relationships, if you have that decade-long relationship, why not communicate it behind the scenes and say, hey, like I just have a question about this comment.
Yeah.
And I believe that there's an agreement, and it's not. I don't think it's just AMC. I think it's like a window that all theaters have.
Yeah.
For theatrical titles, like once it hits theaters, they have like a 90-day window before a title can go VOD.
Yeah.
I believe
makes it exclusively available at the movie theater. Right. So the only way you can see it is by going to the movie theaters. And if you're going to the movie theaters, you're going to buy popcorn. You're going to buy soda. Mm-hmm. And I mean, honestly, I just think that the business model needs to be reimagined.
Yes.
Because we do kind of still need movie theaters, because the last thing we want is to have a movie theater that only shows Universal movies, or a movie theater that only shows Disney movies.
And we don't all live in areas where we like we have all these like variety of movies theaters around us. Like we don't live in a place where like, oh look, there's a Cinemark. Oh there's a Movie Co. Oh, there's an AMC. Oh, there's a Regal, or whatever other movie theaters are out there. Like for a lot of people, the closest theater to them could be an AMC. And then
for us, and the AMC is by far the closest, most convenient.
We have so many AMCs near us, and if we want to go to a Regal, which we'll get into that in 2 seconds, we have to drive maybe 45 minutes to a Regal, and it's as opposed to driving 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
So speaking of Regal, because I know you wanted to talk about this, and we saw this morning. So at first it was just AMC kind of clapping back at the comment that Universal made about releasing their titles concurrently. So now, Cineworld, who is the owner of Regal, has added their voice to all this, and you can find all the details on Deadline. And this is the quote from the owner of Cineworld. Universal unilaterally chose to break our understanding and did so at the height of the COVID-19 crisis, when our business is closed. More than 35,000 employees are at home, and when we do not yet have a clear date for the reopening of our cinemas. And Universal's movie is, I don't know if this is still a quote. Yes, it is. Universal's movie is completely inappropriate, and Universal's move is completely inappropriate and certainly has nothing to do with good faith, business practice, partnership, and transparency. So that means if they stand strong to this and they're trying to maybe back Universal into a corner, saying, we're going to band together, and no, you can't do this to us. You have to respect that window to the business model that we've been following for a long time. Mm-hmm. This wipes out some pretty major movie theater chains that will not show Universal movies. And I don't know what that means, because
I think it's just going to simply bring them back to the table to start to negotiate. Yeah. Because, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, the last thing we want, a lot of times people are like, yeah, you go in and you spend so much to get a ticket. Then you spend so much to get popcorn and soda. By the time you're done, you've spent $50 on
Imagine
two
if
people
you have a family of 4.
Or a family of 4, you're spending $75 to see a movie.
That's expensive.
And a part of me feels bad for the movie theaters, because for the first week that they show a movie, they don't get any money from the ticket sales. All of that ticket sales goes straight to the studios, and they still need to either pay for it.
I think they still have to pay to license to show it.
Or
I think I'm not really too clear on the rules. So if you guys know, go ahead and chime in the chat.
So the studios really do seem like they get the better end of the deal.
Yeah.
than the movie theaters. Like I feel like the movie theaters have kind of been, you know, smacked around a bit. But then again, I mean, still, they're not helping in any way by coming out very aggressively, and by charging us, you know, $10 for a bucket of popcorn.
Yeah, but man, some of the movie theater popcorn is really freaking good.
I miss movie theater popcorn. I miss Disney popcorn.
I miss Disney popcorn too. So yeah, this whole thing is pretty messy. We're definitely gonna keep a close eye on the situation and see if either side give any further statements and see where they come to at the end of it. I wouldn't be surprised if Universal decides to stand their ground and say, look, the model worked for us, and yes, it was during the pandemic crisis, but it still worked. And honestly, and a lot of you guys have already said this in the chat, like certain titles, certain movies, and I think they'll choose carefully. I don't think they're gonna easily make that decision for like a Fast 9, which I think is meant to be seen in theaters.
Yeah.
But with that said, if you take into everybody's like personal financial situation, if they were given the choice of paying $20 a seat at a movie theater versus paying $20 to rent the movie at home, and then you can make your own snacks, you can eat your own four course dinner at home while you're watching these movies,
and you can pause it and go to the bathroom.
Yeah, like what would you pick? I think for some people they're gonna pick the more affordable route, and I can't blame them for that because going to the movies is expensive. So yeah, I understand. We understand both sides of the situation, but we feel like the way it's all played out is just like, I can't look away, but I'm gonna keep watching.
I would just be sipping my tea.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the tea is pretty good on this one, but I do hope it gets resolved. I would hate for AMC. Yeah, I want to go back to the theaters, and I know that's not like a decision that anybody can just come to, but you know, until this whole thing is under control. But I really don't want to see AMC or Regal not showing Universal movies, because some of the movies that are coming out by Universal, very, very exciting. I would absolutely love to go and see. So that would be interesting. Luckily, we have a local theater that wouldn't fall under this category. They would play all the movies.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But it's like a smaller, I think they have like maybe 6 theaters only. So it's still, you know.
And that's another thing that's really curious, if you think about it. Would it be good for the big movie theater companies to kind of fall apart, like Regal and AMC, and then have smaller mom and pops take their place?
Like purchase the existing theaters?
Yeah, like the existing theaters will, like, one person will be like, hey, you know what, I really like this AMC that's not up for sale.
There's like 4 in Burbank going next to each other.
Yeah. And so, I mean, buy them, and then, hey, you know what, let's run our own little movie theater kind of a thing.
And then you can show all the movies you want.
The problem is that means the studios then are going to probably have a lot more power. And they're probably going to be able to be like, you know, where Regal can say, hey, you know what, you don't follow our rules, there's going to be thousands of theaters that your movie's not going to be in. Yeah. However, mom and pop, who maybe owns 2 different locations,
they're like, yes.
They're going to be
they'll get a surge of attendance.
Well, at first.
Oh.
Well, but then the theaters are going to be like, well, you know, what are you going to do about it? You're one theater. You're not going to be able to stand up to our influence and power. You pay our prices, or you don't get the movie.
I don't know if it'll come to that. We'll see.
They're multi-million-dollar studios, billion-dollar studios. So yeah, I'm pretty sure if they're able to throw their power around, they're able to throw their big weight around, then yeah, we could end up looking at all of the big movie chains go out of business, and then all these studios have all this power to do whatever they want to these little mom and pop places that kind of, in a sense, don't have a union to stand on.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see how this all, you know, plays out. I hope they come to an agreement and they can stop the fighting. And like I said, like, I can really see where everybody is coming from. I get the Universal thing, and I get AMC, especially given their current situation. They're kind of like, well, no, our business is already dying, and this is going to hurt it more. Though I don't think that open letter helped.
No, it did not.
To communicate their thought across. Oh, wow. So that brings us to the end of our live stream today. This has been just chock full of
This has been
a lot of news.
A lot of interesting news to actually talk about. This was actually, I really liked this chat that we were able to have.
Yeah,
because there was a lot of good info, a lot of new developments, a little bit of gossip and drama to talk about, some interesting changes, and also some speculation on what the future holds.
Oh, and I like this comment that just came from Steve Calderon from the chat. He says, "I live near an independent theater that has allowed to play Netflix movies like Marriage Story and The Irishman." See, I like that. I like that smaller independent theaters can do that. For example, then they can like put Bad Education in a theater for people to go and see, which is pretty cool.
That also might be something else. I mean, if AMC and Regal fall apart, there's going to be new ones that kind of take their place that are more adapted to being able to do both.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have more smaller theaters that you can go into, and then you'd be able to see like Bad Education in these smaller theaters, and then they would have bigger ones for like your Avengers, for your Fast Nines, for your Marvel, for your DC platforms coming out. So
I mean, if they go this way and movie theaters starts to slowly dying out, I feel like we're gonna have to take the money that we're not spending in theaters and invest in because we have a small TV, a bigger TV, so we can enjoy viewing theaters from home, and maybe a really good like popcorn, those little popcorn machine carts.
Yes.
If that's the way they go, like, because think of all the money that we would have been putting into buying movie theater concession plus tickets, and then we're gonna just buy a funnel that money.
Fancy popcorn maker.
But for now, it'll be microwave.
Those things are a pain in the butt to clean.
That's the worst. It's the worst.
I have a newfound respect for all of the people that work at AMC and have to clean out those huge popcorn poppers.
Yeah. Oh, or Blade GTR has a good Blade GTR in the chat. He has a good suggestion. Go projection screen. Yes, that's true. You can get one and just hang it, and depending on how the throw is.
Oh,
you can get some really good picture and then just add, your little surround sounds, and you have your own little movie experience at home. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe I'm like a little traditional, a little bit old fashioned in this, but I actually love going to the theaters and sitting in this. And it's not just like being able to. It's more than just seeing the movie in a dark theater on the big screen and like really really great pixelation. It's the experience of like a community of film lovers. And you gave a good example about the Avengers, seeing scenes like that play out and the audience going wild.
Especially seeing it on something like IMAX.
Yeah, so it's kind of something like that I'll miss if the theaters start to slowly die out. Like I love, you can call me a traditionalist, like I actually love going to the theaters.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the people that love to read books and the people that use their Kindle.
It took me a really long time to switch to Kindle. It took me a really long time. I'm still not used to it because I like to flip through the book. So I always like when people send me books to review. I'm like, yes,
I got a hard copy.
Yeah. So, but then I run into the problem of like, now I don't have room. So, anyways, you guys, storage, or donate it to a library. Well, you guys, that's it for our live stream today. Thank you so much for joining us in all of our discussions. If you have any comments, suggestions, or anything like that, go ahead and put it in the chat or in the comment section below after this video is done. Live streaming, we love to hear your thoughts on all of these topics. Make sure you guys tune in again on Saturday, where we will have a more casual conversation, unless there's more, drama and tea coming out from this this AMC versus Universal, AMC/Regal versus Universal thing. We will see you guys then. Thank you so much. Don't forget to check out new videos that are up on our channel. We have the Bad Education review. We have Extraction review. We're going to be filming a trailer reaction to a TV clip for the upcoming episode of the Clone Wars. That's going to go on Patreon. And I think that's it for now. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye. Your chair is squeaky, huh?
Squeaky.